Okay, let's jump right in. For hundreds, even thousands of years, academic writing has been how we build and share knowledge. It's this pillar of society. But now, a brand new and pretty powerful collaborator has just walked into the room: generative AI. So today, we're going to unpack how this tech is completely shaking up one of our oldest scholarly traditions.
You know that classic image of a scholar, right? They're all alone, maybe in a dusty library, surrounded by stacks of books, just lost in thought. Well, that's the old way. The new way? It's way more of a dynamic duo. It's what researchers are starting to call a shared cognitive engagement. Think of it as a real partnership between a human brain and an AI system.
Right. So, this whole idea of a partner really changes things. And that brings us to the first big shift. The academic's job is evolving. They're not just a writer anymore. They're becoming more of a designer of intellectual workflows, who strategically steers their AI partner through the research process.
And this cognitive partnership thing, it goes way deeper than just fixing typos. We are talking about an active collaborator in the actual thinking process. The AI helps come up with concepts, it helps build sentences, and it can even help polish the writing style. It's a partner from start to finish.
Okay, that's the theory. So how does this partnership actually play out? Let's go to the very beginning of any research project, the part where every single one of us stares at that intimidating, dreaded blank page. How do you even get the ball rolling?
I mean, this is a question every student, every professor, every researcher asks. There's just so much information out there. It can feel like you're drowning. You might have a general idea, but turning that spark into a sharp, original research question, that's a massive hurdle. And that's exactly where an AI can be an incredible launchpad. So check this out. It's something people are calling the AI ideation loop. The researcher starts with a pretty broad prompt, right? Something like, what's new with AI and math education? The AI then fires back with some really specific, interesting ideas. And from there, the researcher can grab one of those threads and sharpen it into a focused, solid research question. It's this back and forth that really helps get things moving.
Okay, but what about accuracy? We've all heard the horror stories about AI just making stuff up, right? These so-called hallucinations. That's why the professional-grade tools are so important. They have features like a deep research mode, which is built specifically for this. It checks every citation against real, legitimate academic databases. This is absolutely critical for keeping the work credible.
All right, so you've got a solid question, you've done your background reading, now it's time for the main event, actually writing the paper. Let's take a look at how an AI can be your co-pilot when you're drafting the manuscript itself.
Okay, let's take this example. It's a research abstract from a study by Gilly. It's really dense, super technical, and full of great information, but it's written for other specialists. So what happens when our researcher needs to explain these findings to, say, a group of policymakers who have no idea what any of this jargon means?
And the instruction given to the AI? It's so simple, it's beautiful. This right here is that intellectual workflow design we were talking about. The researcher sets the goal, provides the context, and gives a clear command. Summarize this for a policy audience, keep it to 100 words.
And the results are just fascinating. You can see how each of the big AI tools, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and Perplexity, gets the main point across, but each has its own little spin. Claude is super punchy. Video trumps text. I love that. Perplexity, on the other hand, highlights that human connection. Now the researcher can pick the one they like best or even combine them. It's a huge shortcut for communicating science effectively. Now, all of this is obviously incredibly powerful, but it opens up a huge can of worms when it comes to ethics and who actually owns the work. I mean, if an AI is helping you brainstorm, outline, and draft, what does it even mean to be the author? This is the really tough conversation happening across all academia right now.
And this gets us right to the heart of the matter. Is it cheating? Where do you draw the line between a helpful assistant and an uncredited co-author? Figuring this out means we need a really clear ethical playbook, one that keeps academic work honest while still letting us use these amazing new technologies. The good news is a consensus is starting to form around a few key ideas, and it all really comes down to two things: transparency and accountability. You have to disclose how you use the AI. You have to attribute the specific tool, and, this is the big one, the human author is still 100% responsible for everything in the final paper. The buck stops with you.
So what does that look like on the page? Well, here's a perfect example of a disclosure statement you might find in a research paper. It's clear, it's honest, and it shows the author is taking full ownership. This is really becoming the gold standard for how to do this right.
So where does this all leave us? It's pretty clear we're not just looking at a fancy new word processor. This is a whole new way of thinking about how we create knowledge. Let's zoom out and look at the big picture for a second.
And this, right here, is probably the single most important idea to grasp. This is not about replacement. The goal isn't for an AI to become an author on its own. No, it's about augmentation. The AI is a partner in a dialogue, a tool that helps build a scaffold for human thought, letting researchers go bigger, faster, and be even more creative.
You know, there's a quote that just perfectly sums up this whole shift. What was once a solitary act of composition has become a dialogic and distributed process. That lonely journey of writing is now turning into a conversation.
And so we end up with this really profound question. In an era where we're co-authoring with machines, the very definition of what it means to be an author is changing before our eyes. And that's not just a question about technology. It's a question about our own creativity, our own responsibility, and really our own identity.